Good morning, everybody. It's Pork Chop. Welcome back to Army Daily. How y'all doing today? Pastor Francis Brent Farrell here. Got something to help you get you through your day. Guys, been dealing with a lot of stuff here the last few days. Last couple of weeks, actually. Just, it seems like fires are, firing up and we're having to put fires out. I'm seeing a lot of things, people weaponizing the word and killing each other with the word. They're not, they're stepping on each other, trying to get ahead or for their own agenda and different stupid things, guys. And, as I was in prayer this morning, and I had to go and take my daughter to school, took my wife to work and dropped her off. And I've got some things for the ministry I'm doing today, having to take care of. And as I was just riding down the road, the Lord was just speaking to me, and I just had to share this with you today. He said, seek God. It's just as plainly as I could sit here and talk to you. He said, seek God. Seek Jesus, guys. This is the things that we need above anything else. Your scripture today comes out of Jeremiah 29:13 and Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Everybody knows the scripture. They've probably been taught since they was in elementary school, in little Sunday school and stuff like that. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. And it said, all into his righteousness. And all these other things will be added into you. Here's the problem. When you're talking about seeking the kingdom, are you only seeking the kingdom or are you seeking the king? There's a thing to be able to go and find the kingdom. It's good to go find the place. The place is the destination. I understand. Everybody wants to go to heaven. It's the destination. It's the place everybody wants to go. That's one of our main goals. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. Let's go and his righteousness, following it. But are you seeking the king? Are you going boldly before the throne of grace? Are you going to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? Are you casting your care upon him? Are you going boldly before the throne of grace? If you are truly seeking the King, the kingdom will follow. You have to understand that it's more than just doing the work and putting the work in. It's spending that time with the King of Kings. It's to spend that time with Jesus, guys. It's to spend that time with God and really turning to him and pouring your heart out to him and building that relationship and fellowship with him. There's nothing wrong. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with seeking the kingdom, but are you truly need to seek the King? It tells us in Jeremiah 29:13, it says, and you will seek me and you will find me. And when you search for me with all your heart, are you truly searching for God with all your heart? Are you truly pouring everything out of your spirit into him? Are you really just spending that, the time that's it's necessity in prayer and just, having that inclusive time and including him through your day, and then your exclusive time with him where it's just you and him, putting everything off, turning everything away, shutting the door, just you and Jesus. Going to the mountaintop, going to the river, going to your secret place in your little study where it's quiet, just you and him having your prayer time. Seeking God and seeking what he would have you go and what he'd have you do, and truly is turning to him and say, Lord, how can I be a service to you today? How can I, reach out to you today? How can I, do something for you today? And just having that one-on-one conversation between child and father, but, standing there, and standing before your creator and saying, God, what can I do? Where can you have me go? What can I just sit in your lap and just love on you a little bit today? Is it that simple? Yeah, it's that simple. But see, too many times you're not truly seeking the Lord with all your heart. You want to go to church on Sunday, and you want to go to church on Wednesday night, and, and that's about it. And you just want to punch your time card and get you a little bit of time in. And then when the crisis comes, that you want to pull God out like a spare tire when you get a flat. That you only want him when you need him. They don't work that way, man. What kind of relationship is that? What kind of fellowship is that? Where you only, just reach out to God when you need something. you know, that you got sitting there with your hand out, or there's a crisis that's happening, that you're like, oh God, I need you now. I need you more than I ever have. Well, you needed him back, yesterday. Listen, the only easy day you've ever had was yesterday. Today's a new day. And I need Jesus today more than I did yesterday. And I know I'm going to need him more tomorrow than I do today. I have to know that I have to walk hand in hand with him and spend that time. I can't just use Jesus, as a life preserver. That just when I'm sitting there drowning in the rivers of life, or the ocean of life, that I get a little ring tossed out from the boat and says, all right, I'm going to pull you in. No, it's not like that. There's times I need some saving grace, man, that I need that life ring. There's times that I have turned to the Lord and said, man, I'm in a crisis. I need some help here. But where was I? What am I doing in the past week, the past month, the past year, the past 15 years, the past 20 years? Where have I been with my walk in my relationship with him? Where have I stood with him and say, Lord, I need you? I have put my trust in the Lord with all my heart. It tells us in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. I want you to listen to this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. All right, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. All right, trust in the Lord. You have to, in order to have a relationship with somebody, you have to trust them. And if you're truly trusting in the Lord with all your heart, and you're not leaning on your own understanding, let me tell you, some people's understanding is stagnant, stale, and plumb, just like out of this world. Okay. Your understanding is, your knowledge of anything is a grain of sand being blown across a desert compared to God's knowledge and understanding. See, if we lean on our own understandings, we're going to fall down, we're going to bust our head, we're going to bust our nose, we're going to roll around in the dirt, we're going to get all messed up and twisted up and just be chewed up and spit out. We can't lean on our own understanding. We need to understand him with God. See, when you truly seek Jesus, he says that he will give us his wisdom, his knowledge, and his understanding. See, there's a lot of, you can't have wisdom about something, all right, unless you have knowledge about something. You have to learn something, okay? You have to learn of the way the Lord, how he works and thinks. See, God works in miracle signs and wonders. Those miracle signs, the miracles are the signs that will make you wonder, and because you have no understanding how this could even possibly happen. I've seen God do so many miraculous things that would blow your mind. And truly in how he works these things. It's not for us to understand. It's not for us to try to work in. If God's going to work it out how he works it out. But if you're seeking knowledge on something, God's going to fill you with that knowledge. Then you'll become wise to it. And once you have that wisdom, now you have understanding. See, that's because you've put your trust in the Lord. You're trusting the Lord with all your heart. You're leaning on him. See, that's why he says he's the rock of our salvation that we need to put our foot upon, that we need to stand upon, and we have to acknowledge him. If you're going to have trust in him and you're seeking him, you're going to acknowledge somebody. You're going to acknowledge him in the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you hold yourself as a man or a woman of God, and saying, Jesus, lead and guide my steps. See, because if you acknowledge him, he shall direct your steps. He'll lay out your paths, guys. He'll lead and guide you. He says, to follow him, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. If you step where he steps, you're going to be okay. If you step in his, it's like I told you years ago, this is hunting season. My daddy taught me years ago, when we go rabbit hunting, man, that snow would be so deep, it'd be up to my knees, but up to my dad, it'd only be up right, just a little bit past his ankles. And I was tripping, and I was falling, and I was stumbling, because I was trying to cut my own path. But my daddy turned around so quietly and so softly, he said to me, he says, son, step in my footsteps. It'll be easier for you. And and I found, when he would make those imprints in the snow that was so deep, all I had to do was step in his footsteps. And I wasn't struggling so hard. See, Jesus has already came and cut the path. He shall direct your path. You have to truly trust in him, though. You have to lean on your understanding. You got to put all your heart. You got to trust him with all your heart. You know, you might not like what you have to go through. You might not like having what you're dealing with. But I'm going to tell you right now, you truly need to seek God. You need to truly seek him out and trust him. You know, don't just seek the kingdom. Don't just seek out heaven, man. You need to seek out the King. You need to get in touch with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You need to reach out to Jesus and say, I'm having a day. Jesus, thank you for this blessings you pour upon me. Jesus, you know, my marriage is in crisis now. My children are going crazy. My job my job is talking about shutting down. You know, the power bill is due and I ain't got I need some help. They're going to cut my power off. They're going to repossess my car. Listen, you can take anything to Jesus. It doesn't matter what it is. See, the church will tell you can't take these things to Jesus. It ain't nothing to do with him. No, that's a lie. He says, I know our thoughts I think towards you to prosper you, to give you hope in a future. Okay? He wants you to be okay. He wants you to be able to prosper. He wants you to be financially stable. He wants you to be, to be able to provide for your family. All these things to give you that hope in the future to reach out. You know, and you're truly trusting him, man, you're not going to care if the government's shut down. He ain't going to care that, the cost of food and this and that. You're not going to care if the cost of gas is going crazy. Why? Because you put all your trust in him. And he always seems to show up right in the nick of time or on time in his time. And he shows up in a great and mighty way. And he shows off, man. See, there's where when you truly seek the King, and not just the kingdom. We're not just looking for a place to go. We're going to the one who rules the kingdom. There's who we are because we're heirs and joint heirs with Jesus Christ. That we walk hand in hand with him. Guys, I don't mean to keep on rambling on, keep going today, but I just want to say, don't just seek the kingdom. Seek God. That's what he told me this morning. He said, seek God. Seek me. Seek my face. He says, if you knock, it shall be opened. If you, listen, guys, you turn to him, you ask and you shall receive. Anything that you turn to him, ask in his name. Anything, you need peace, he's your peace. If you need mercy, he is your mercy. If you need grace, he is your grace. If you need joy, he is your joy. If you need anything in the Lord, that he'll fill your spirit up. If you need healing, he is your healer. He is your banner. He is your Jehovah Rapha. He is I'm telling you, your Jehovah Tsidkenu. He is everything that you possibly. He said, because he says, I am. Anything that you need, he says, I am. Turn to me. Cast your cares upon me. But see, we need to seek him before anything else. Don't look at the stuff and the trouble of this world and everything that's happening, because it's going to burn. But when you truly put all your trust in Jesus, and you put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters, when you reached up for the hand that reaches further down, you can reach up. When you truly reach out for Jesus, that he's got his hand out there and he's going to hold you, that nothing can take you out of his righteous right hand, because you have sought him first, you have put him first, and you have trusted in him. With yourself and your family and everything that it has to do with your life, physical, spiritual, and financial, that he will take care of you. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this today. I just want to tell you thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Please share our videos. Go check out our YouTube page, Brent Farrell Ministries. Guys, go look us and like us on YouTube. Guys, if you'd like to give to our ministry, it's all in the description. Just go down and look. We have PayPal, Cash App, and ways to give. Guys, I'm telling you, this is solid ground. This is fertile soil, man, that we're going out. We're changing people's lives. We're changing them. We're lifting people up to Jesus, getting people saved, and putting them on the right path, getting them off drugs, getting them off alcohol, getting them away from pornography, away from gambling. Guys, I'm telling you, the Lord is working in this ministry. Sow a seed if you'd like to see. If you'd like to support this ministry, please give. We haven't waited to mail things in. Guys, I love y'all. I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day. And I'll see y'all Sunday. All right, we're going to be meeting over at the Rec Center in Princeton Rec Center, 1:30. Come out and join us. Everybody's welcome. The doors are open. Service starts at 1:30. I'll see you there. I love y'all. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye.